Alrighty guys, we're back for some Wolf Aggro, and this is a March of the Machine, the Aftermath Standard Brew. We're gonna go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Red Cat and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well, so hope that sounds fun to ya. Also, we do get that Discord link down in the description if you're interested in joining that up. Okay, what do we got in the build here? Let's go over our wolves first. We got all four Kessig Naturalist. This is a 2-mana, 2/2 human werewolf. When Kessig Naturalist attacks, you add a red or a green mana. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Nice. Now it has Daybound, Nightbound, obviously. So when it's nighttime, it flips into Lord of the Ulvenwald. It's a 3/3 werewolf. Other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1. Nice. Whenever Lord of the Ulvenwald attacks, you add a red or a green mana. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. A very powerful werewolf, guys. It really is. It's definitely the 2-drop that we want to see here. But we have another 2-drop werewolf as well. Outland Liberator is a 2-mana, 2/2. For 1 mana, you can sacrifice Outland Liberator, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Okay, that could come in handy with how much Selesnya enchantments we're seeing recently. It's got Daybound, Nightbound. When it's nighttime, it flips into Frenzied Trapbreaker, which is a 3/3 for 1 mana. You can sacrifice Frenzied Trapbreaker, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Okay. Or just attack with it, because whenever Trapbreaker attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls, which can absolutely rip apart certain decks, huh? Pretty powerful wolf, man. Okay, we got 3 Tovolar Dire Overlords here. This is a 3-mana, 3/3. Whenever a wolf or a werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Wow, nice. Beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves and or werewolves, it becomes night. Then transform any number of human werewolves you control. So when it is nighttime, it's Tovolar the Midnight Scourge, which is a 4/4 legendary creature werewolf. And whenever a wolf or a werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Okay. And then for X, a red and a green, target wolf or werewolf you control gets +X/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. Just a very powerful werewolf, huh? Speaking of powerful werewolves, we got all 4 Reckless Stormseekers in here. I'm not going to go over it. I think we see Stormseeker enough. We know the power level of it, huh? We got Arlinn, the Pack's Hope. It's a 4-mana, 4 loyalty legendary planeswalker. It's got Daybound, Nightbound. So when it's nighttime, it's actually Arlinn the Moon's Fury, which is a 4 loyalty planeswalker, obviously. It's got a +2 here. You add a red and a green. That could be pretty good ramp. Mostly in this deck, it would just help you do like 2 different things on the same turn, right? But the 0 on the night side of this card is actually really good, because until end of turn, Arlinn the Moon's Fury becomes a 5/5 werewolf creature with trample, indestructible, and haste, which obviously can help you close up games. The front side of Arlinn, though, when it's daytime, is actually really good as well, because it's got this -3 where you just create 2 green wolf creature tokens, which is powerful, guys. It really is. It's got a +1 that isn't half bad as well. Until your next turn, you may cast creature cards as though they had flash, and each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Just a solid planeswalker overall, guys. We've actually played this outside of some wolf builds and just in some Gruul aggro in general, and it's just like, it's solid, man. It really is. Okay, the final wolf to go over in the deck is actually a couple Ill-Tempered Loners. This is a 4-mana, 3/3 human werewolf. And when it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. Okay, why not, right? That makes it really good against things like mono red and stuff, because mono red really doesn't want to block this, first of all. It's really hard for mono red to burn this as well, so, and we do see quite a bit mono red, so. Also has another ability for 1 in a red Ill-Tempered Loner, gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Not bad. It's got Nightbound, of course. When it is nighttime, it's the Howlpack Avenger. So it's a 4/4 werewolf. Whenever a permanent you control is dealt damage, Howlpack Avenger deals that much damage to any target. If it flips to nighttime and you got that Avenger and they don't have some kind of spot removal like Go for the Throat for the Avenger, then it's looking very bad for the opponent, because all of a sudden all of their chump blocks become super deadly, right? So also has that same ability as the front side for 1 in a red. Howlpack Avenger gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Not bad, guys. It really isn't. But I don't think it's worth like a 3 or a 4 of. I think the 2 of is going to be completely fine. So we have a bunch of other stuff packed in here that just isn't a werewolf, because I think that's the best way to go for aggro, right? If everything was a werewolf, then first of all, we're playing with no new cards at all. But then also, I think we're missing out on a lot of aggro, right? So I got all 4 Phoenix Chick in here, mainly because Phoenix Chick works really well with the Stormseeker too. Worst comes to worst, your opponent's blocking really well on the ground, and you can just plug that extra damage from the Stormseeker onto the Phoenix Chick, which works really well. It really does. I closed up some games on the channel with that little tiny combo, right? Got all 4 Kumano Faces Kakkazan. It's going to be terrific in here. Actually, our 1-mana cards in general are going to be terrific, because on turn 3, you're swinging with that Naturalist and getting that extra mana. So being able to do something like play with fire with that extra mana sounds pretty good, man. So all 4 play with fires going to be hitting your opponent's face often, because that scry ability comes into play often. You have a little bit of protection in here, opting for the Tyvar stand, because I do think there's going to be moments where this can help us wrap up games. Now we also have a Feldon packed in here, right? We just kind of like merged mono red over into wolves, and I think that's going to be completely fine. Feldon happens to just be a powerhouse of a card. As a 1-of in here, I think it's going to be great. Speaking of 1-ofs, we have Unnatural Moonrise. It's a 2-mana sorcery speed. It becomes night. Okay. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. It also has flashback for 2, a red and a green. So be careful with this card. It doesn't say like up to 1 target creature or anything like that. So when it says like it becomes night, on the stack, you're still targeting one of your creatures with this. And so I'm pretty sure if the opponent drops like instant speed removal on the target, then I'm pretty sure this card just fizzles out and it no longer becomes night. So definitely something to consider. Now, it does say target creature, so I guess if you're worried about some instant speed removal, you could like target one of your opponent's creatures or something, and maybe, I guess it depends what they have. But yeah, just be careful. There's a potential for this to fizzle out. But realistically, this is in here as a 1-of to help us close up a game real quick. Maybe we're having trouble actually flipping it to night, but we have enough wolves on the board and Naturalist to buff them and whatnot too, so switching it to night all of a sudden ends the game. I like it as a 1-of. More 1-ofs here. Nahiri's Warcrafting. It's just sometimes it's really important to deal 5 damage to something, and Warcrafting happens to be pretty good in a deck that runs a bunch of 1-drops too. There's going to be moments where you have that Naturalist and you play your 3rd land and you use that Warcrafting to pick something up, right? And then with that extra, maybe you use that extra mana off the Naturalist to play out like a play with fire that you saw off the Warcrafting or something, right? So you never know. That is a line of play technically. On the very top end of the build, we do have a couple burn down the house as well. Just, you know, I've been having a lot of success with burn down the house, and if you're not wiping the board, creating devils obviously is pretty aggressive when it needs to be, huh? Also, dealing 5 damage to everything when you have Ill-Tempered Loner or Howlpack Avenger out is pretty good too, because obviously that's a tiny little combo on the top end. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's in the deck, so you never know, huh? Oh, look, guys, I can apply my styles now that we don't have to read the backside of the cards. They really need to fix that, man. Okay, in the mana base, we actually have all the Copperline Gorge, all the Karplusan Forest, only 3 Rockfall Vales. So many 1 and 2s. I do think multiple Rockfall Vales is going to slow us down in some early games. We see it all the time, so only 3. Opting for a Mirrex this time. I think Mirrex is a pretty powerful land, and I think I got to start adding it to more of my builds, right? So that one ability here, add 1 mana of any color, activate only if Mirrex entered the battlefield this turn. It could be as simple as like a turn 1 mountain, and our only other land is a Mirrex. So turn 2 Mirrex, and then we still get to play the Naturalist because that middle ability is actually really good, huh? And then Naturalist can help us mana fix for the rest of that game. Also, the bottom ability helps us out a little bit against board wipes. Not too much, but I'm sure it'll come in handy more than we would think, right? Obviously, we got a Who Endures and a Crucible of Defiance heavily leaning towards red because the deck is heavily leaning towards red, right? So got some honorable mentions over here. I thought about safekeeping over the stand. It really depends what you're seeing. I think the stand is actually just going to help us wrap up more games, and safekeeping's life gain comes in handy often, so I guess if you're seeing more aggro, then safekeeping might be the bet. I thought about Lightning Strike and Moonrager Slash. More burn could be pretty good, but maybe we'll talk more about that in the final thoughts, right? Instead of the Burn Down the House, I actually thought about the Volatile Arsonist, which is actually a really powerful werewolf. It really, really is, man. Also has this ability where it like deals the 1 damage to each of up to 1 target creature, and you can totally target your own creature like the Ill-Tempered Loner for extra damage to the opponent. I think the Burn Down the House is going to be much, much better though right now. And then instead of the Mirrex, I considered the Mishra's Foundry, but I think Mirrex is going to be a lot better in here. Having a Mishra's Foundry in a deck like this that has like all these gruel costing things is pretty risky. So yeah, no, opting for the Mirrex is going to be the play here. All right, guys, is that everything? I hope so. I hope I went over the deck well enough. Let's go ahead, take it into some ranked and see how we do. All right, what am I expecting from the build? I'll tell you what, if this was a year ago, I'd look at this build like, oh man, we're gonna wreck face. Right now though, I don't know, man. Maybe it'll be like close to a 50-50 split, or maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe it's just gonna be really good, huh? Opponent goes first, you. The hand is not the greatest, only seeing 2 mana. And 2 of our 5, this is all of our 5 mana cards actually in the deck. And a 4 mana card. Is this a mulligan? You have the Scry on Play with Fire if we really need to. Let's risk it, man. Let's give it a shot. That's what we're here to do. We're here to test out the limitations of the deck. Right into a Swift Spear. Okay, oh, mana, that's good. Do we just Play with Fire the Swift Spear then? And we should do it on our turn before they can get it above the Play with Fire. Yeah, it's the safer bet. If this is mono red, they went first, bro, so yeah. I think that's the safest thing to do. As much as I'd love to scry, make sure we can get the 4th for the Arlinn. I'm not sure we'll even be thinking of Arlinn on 4, depending on what we see, so. Because next turn, it's looking like nothing. Okay, Swift Spear number 2. Let's go for the damage, maybe. Just Play with Fire face. Nope. Oh, second Play with Fire. That's actually really good, man. So, if we go Phoenix Chick, if we go Play with Fire, take out Swift Spear, then they drop the Play with Fire face to protect it, right? So, maybe we use Play with Fire at the beginning of their turn. I don't know about that, though. And I don't think they necessarily go Play with Fire on the Phoenix Chick either. So what we want to do is play our Play with Fire on the stack of their Play with Fire, right? Make sure the Swift Spear dies. And I'm assuming they want to go for that damage then. Oh, okay. They did not go for it. Now they have 3 open mana, so this might be a very different turn. If it's just a swing for 3, that's fine. Again, we want to do this on the stack. We could always just hit the adversary too. They're not going to do it. Just 3 down to 15 is fine. We could always Play with Fire their face now. I'd love to see a 3 mana card off the top. Alright, we're not hitting that Swift Spear, and I suppose it's a lot safer to take a card out of the equation. I suppose, right? And they still might hold open that Play with Fire for our turn, right? But it would be more damage to do it now. I know I would have done it now, but that might be a mistake, so. If we see mana a couple turns in a row, if like we have Burn Down the House on time, then that could be huge for us, depending on if they see like Feldon or something. Okay. Can we see Arlinn on time next turn? I suppose it's possible. Phoenix Chick can't block, we obviously swing here. 2 mana open, I suppose they want to still play around instant speed things, right? So I've been seeing a lot more Bloodthirsty Adversary red. Kinda, Mono red has a few ways to put it together that just happens to be really powerful, huh? There's the Play with Fire. Okay, I guess they wanted to wait for the other Swift Spear. So if I would have held back the Play with Fire, maybe we could have taken out one Swift Spear. They'd still have the Adversary on board too. Yeah, swing for 4. We're down to 11. That could have been really bad if they saw another Play with Fire too, right? So, actually, that was their first one. Oh no, another Phoenix check. That's really bad because we can't keep up pace. We cannot keep up pace right now with a couple Swift Spears. Well, we go for the swing. Arlinn could get us some chump blockers if we see that land. No guarantees. Really risky starting hand, guys. All 3 of these cards were in our opener. And the Phoenix check being the only creature we saw this game. It's pretty bad, man. Like I said, though, we got to test it to its limits. If we were up against a slower deck, I'd feel a little bit more confident right now, though. Just because we maybe have a couple extra turns to draw the land we need to see, but yeah. That definitely would have been the turn to get the chump blockers down. Very possible they could just wrap up the game this turn, right? A couple pieces of burn and then the Swift Spear swing for 6. It's going to be a Devastator swing for 4. Maybe they keep Devastator back as a blocker. I doubt it, though, because we are not keeping up with this. Yeah, the 2, I would say, most prominent versions of Mono Red I've been seeing recently is the Dragon version that runs the 2-drop battle that cares about having some dragons in your build. And then the Adversary version, where Adversary just carries the weight of that build. Oh, Naturalist. Okay. Oh, that would have been so good a couple turns ago. Not that it would have survived necessarily, but that's a decent draw. That's better than nothing, man. I guess land still would have been the best bet because 2 wolves is better than 1. And then regardless of the block on the ground, which we probably have to, it's probably going to die. Because, yeah, if it's burned to face, we're dead. Because they'll have 6 going through. And if it's burned to face, we still might be dead because they have 3 total mana. And Naturalist is definitely going to die here. So yeah, the double wolves off of Arlinn would have been so much better. Okay, taking 4. Like I said, we could still be dead here. They had the 3 open mana. Didn't draw very well, so maybe next game we can showcase a little bit more of the deck here. Yeah, that Naturalist would have been huge a couple turns ago, but they did have 2 Play with Fires total. At some point, I'm assuming one of those Play with Fires would have hit the Naturalist if they really had to, right? Down to 1. Wow, we are actually alive here. Kumano's not that great, though, so... Yeah, all of that would have just been much better in our opening hand, actually. Hey, good game, opponent. We did a chunk of damage, which is kind of what... Oh! Invasion of Tarkir. Yeah, that's the... I guess this one also runs Adversary. I wonder if this version just runs like a couple Adversaries as a hasty 2-drop then. Potentially. I guess it depends. Like I said, there's quite a few ways to put together Mono Red and be quite successful with it, I would say. It's pretty powerful and it goes fast. It's very scary. I think Swift Spear is obviously the one card that carries over between all the lists, right? I think so. It's a very powerful 1-drop, obviously. Okay, opponent, what you bringing to the table? Oh, now that's a hand, guys. That's a much better hand than the last game. And we go first too, so yeah, wow. I don't know if we go Naturalist next turn or Rafine's Tower, huh? Okay. So I suppose it's Naturalist. There's a chance that we see one of our 4-drops off the top too, but mostly I think we're going to want to do 2 things. One is play Feldon, swing, play second Naturalist. Okay, go for the threat the Naturalist. Oh, another Naturalist. Well, I guess for the turn we're going to go Stormseeker for the sake of haste, and then there's a chance that our Naturalist gains haste next turn too, and again, then we get to do two things. Mastermind. Wow, that they play that on their turn, guys. Wow. Play with Fire is a good draw. It's probably give haste to the Naturalist and ramp into the second Naturalist and see where they end up blocking here, because I'd rather keep Play with Fire for something else. And then they trade Naturalist into Mastermind. They're taking 3, and then we just play the other Naturalist. Are they missing mana? Oh, we gotta actually get out of the combat step here. Okay, and then Feldon Play with Fire is terrific for next turn. Any 1-drop off the top too, Kumano, something that we could use for the Naturalist. Trespasser. Ah, that's rough, man. Where did they end up blocking? Overlord full swing's pretty good, right? We still have Play with Fire open then. Pretty good, I think. They probably end up blocking the Overlord, taking 5. Grab red for Play with Fire open. They end up blocking the Stormseeker. We're drawing 2. We could discard the Feldon. Let's actually see what we end up drawing here. They're down to 5, because we might just Play with Fire their face too. Maybe we should have done that before drawing. Yeah, because now we just drew a bunch of land. Take out Trespasser or hit the face. I think we could also pass. We could also play Feldon. There's a lot of options here. I think I take out Trespasser. I guess either way, it's fine, because we drew so much extra off of the Overlord there. And Feldon comes down next turn. Trespasser number 2. See, if we didn't take out Trespasser, they'd be down to 3. We would have hit their face, right? We would have gotten the Scry, sure, but then they'd have 2 Trespassers on this board to block, right? So I think it was better overall. And they took out one of the wolves, so we actually don't get the flip to nighttime either. Feldon is terrific. Phoenix Chick is terrific. Full swing regardless, bro. We're going in. Blocks there, and that's 6 going through. Wait, was there... I guess it was 6 regardless. Yeah, they had no other choice. The Feldon and the... I didn't math that out at all. That was a math is for blockers moment for sure. I just hit the full swing button. Yeah, I guess... There was a part of my brain that thought they still survived the turn, but nah. They had to block the 3/3, and it was still 6 getting through. GG opponent, man. That is kind of what I was expecting from the aggro side of things, and we can really see how not just leaning fully into wolves really mattered there, right? Having these Phoenix Chicks in the air were huge. The Feldon's haste was huge. So yeah, that was good. That was good. I probably could have played it out a little better too, because if we would have went Play with Fire before the draws, then we would have had the Scry not seen 2 land in a row potentially. Opponent goes first. This is a completely fine hand. Completely fine, dude. I'd actually much prefer the cut down on the Phoenix Chick over the Naturalist, so yep, pretty good. Naturalist has a chance. Well, Naturalist probably doesn't have a chance, but worth the shot? Maybe. If we wait a turn, we could have the Tyvar stand open. Is that worthwhile? I don't know if it's worthwhile actually keeping Naturalist open. No guarantee that they have spot removal. You know what? I always talk about, like, keeping stuff back the turn that opponents obviously keep the spot removal open, but I never do. I always just drop it and then it dies to the go for the throw immediately, right? So I actually don't mind being a little patient last turn. Because we had the mana. Yeah, there was the cut down for it, actually. Alright, I mean, we did this for a reason. Let's protect the Naturalist. Like, we waited a turn for a reason. So go for the throw on top of that, and then, like, 2 turns of dropping Stormseeker? Like, that's actually not bad, is it? Hey, we keep the Naturalist around. Okay. 4th mana drops, and Wandering Emperor could be open. Really cool card sleeves, opponent. Passes it to nighttime. Oh, buddy. Stormseeker. Okay, I'm assuming the Wandering Emperor hits the, well, the Storm-charged Slasher here. But, you never know. Wandering Emperor, back up to 22, losing 3. We have the other Stormseeker. This is too much land, guys. We're seeing too much land right now. Okay, how much land do I have in here? I forget. 23 or 24. It should be, I think. Well, actually, I don't know. I'll have to check when we go over the list again. Yikes, guys. Okay, 3 pieces of spot removal and the Wandering Emperor. And I'll tell you what, the Stormseeker might not have a chance next turn because they still have 2 mana open. Woohoo! Sorry, I got excited. We saw something that isn't a land, which is excellent news. We got to take out that Wandering Emperor for sure. Oh, guys, it's still sticking. Oh, it's out of here. Opponent ran out of spot removal for a turn. Or instant speed spot removal for that matter, right? Oh, wow. We're actually, like, getting a chance to play stuff out. They have 6 mana. Could be a Kaya-style build. A huge swing for us if we're allowed. Guess it could be Wandering Emperor number 2 chilling in their hand as well. March of the Wretched Sorrow for 5. Interesting. Huh. Well, we get to deal that damage back, which is good news, I guess. Right? I guess either way, they wanted to get rid of the creature. But, yeah, I guess on the stack of playing Ill-Tempered Loner... Oh, maybe I should have kept the Kumano back. But you want this to flip into etching as soon as possible. Oh, well, it's gone from the Lauren. Oh, Arlinn, yes, okay. It's good. I'm assuming they take the 3. I guess we could have given one of the wolves haste, but they had a good blocker for one of the wolves. Yeah, we potentially missed 1 damage there had they let this go through. So if we would have gone Arlinn, made this a 3-2, I think they would have ended up blocking, though. No, we would have missed, yeah. Yeah, we would have gotten 2 extra damage there. I guess either way, this is fine, right? Because we still got the 3 through, luckily. Land! Get out of my hand, land! You don't belong here. Spirited Companion, nice. Nice, get those chump blockers rolling. And it's not switching to nighttime yet. Oh, okay, double blocker for the 2-2 now. Oh my goodness, guys, they're just flooding the board. Oh no. Oh no. It's a line of really good draws from the opponent off the companions, and they still have 2 mana open. Brutal, man. So I'd love it to switch to nighttime. I really would. But the Phoenix chick hitting 2 in the air is pretty good. A triple block into Reckless Stormseeker isn't bad for us, because we still get the 4 through. A double block into the 2-2 isn't bad either. Yeah, I guess it's let's not do the whole nighttime business. maybe we keep the Stormseeker back as the blocker, and if they full swing at Arlinn, then Arlinn's dead, but they take 5 for the turn if they don't chump anything. Arlinn might be our only bet, though. If we can keep Arlinn back for a couple turns, I guess we'll just go Phoenix Chick for now. As scary as it is, man, switches to nighttime, and, well... well, I guess we didn't necessarily need it to switch to nighttime, but that's fine. This is pretty good. They dropped the GGs. I'm plugging that into the Phoenix Chick, and they actually just concede. We got there, guys. They didn't have any spot removal in hand. That's awesome, dude. Is this a Sunfall style deck? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, when there's Planeswalkers, you have to consider, like, there's probably board wipes, but this was a lot of creatures that they pumped out here at the end. So Arlinn has trample. The Phoenix Chick was about to get 2 in the air, so that's 4 in the air, right? But other than that, they could have chumped here, then the trample from the Arlinn gets the rest through. No, actually it doesn't. We didn't have the 9 damage there, did we? Because Slasher doesn't have trample on its own. So what we would want to do, because it's 2 in the air, if we went trample onto Stormcharge Slasher, then that's 10 trample damage on the ground, right? And then only 3 to block. So that would be 7, and then the 2 in the air. And then the 2 from the wolf that they couldn't have chumped either. Either way, we were going to do our best to play it out the best way possible, because this could have easily been a piece of spot removal in their hand, just based on the style of deck that they're running, right? All right, very nice, guys. Very, very nice. Let's keep the ball rolling, huh? Again, Phoenix Chick really just coming in handy in general. I like it. Obviously, I like Phoenix Chick, though. I mean, that's another reason why Mono Red's doing so well right now. There's really powerful 1-drops. Kumano as well, right? The 2 mana's sketchy. 2 mana's very sketchy. See, we have a game where we don't see much mana, then we have a game where we flood a tiny bit. What is this going to be, the middle ground game, or should we mulligan? We go first too. Crap. All right, I'm risking it. Let's see it, man. Let's see how well we can draw, because the Unnatural Moonrise, we're not using that till later anyways. We're gonna need the 3rd mana as soon as possible. We have a ton of 2-drop creatures to draw into, and on that matter, a bunch of 1-drop creatures to draw into as well. And even if we don't get to use the 2nd ability on the Kumano, then seeing a land off the top would be really good too. But Fire is probably one of the worst case draws that we could have seen, right? Because the land would have been good and any creature would have been good too, so. Alright, well. Kumano flips next turn. We have a good chance of seeing a land on top, right? Hopefully. Plains Thalia. Aw, man. We might have to just use our 2 mana to take out the Thalia. Well, we should do it this turn for sure, right? Because Warcrafting's 4. That's a little bit... That's too expensive. Stormseeker. Uh-oh, guys. Uh-oh. What have I done? What have I risked here? Oh, Unnatural Moonrise has that draw ability. Maybe we should have done that, seeing if we saw the... Yeah, let's not consider this. Well, now Etching's probably not getting through, but let's not consider it just an end game thing, because if we read the bottom ability here, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So we could have targeted Etching, and then maybe, well, we would have seen it play with fire, but... I think the Scry on the play with fire is better than just taking out Sun Gold. So let's see if they trade here. I don't think they do. I think they take the 2. Because we have green in this deck, so it could be as simple as, yeah, trading a 1 mana card for their Sentinel. Play with Fire is available. Even if they drop Thalia number 2, at least we can hit that. But I'm thinking about that Scry. I'm thinking about it. The line. Oh, buddy. Okay. Crap. All right. We take Sentinel out of the equation so they don't get an extra boost from the Adeline. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They had protection, guys. That's not good. We wouldn't have been able to hit their face either then. Uh-oh. Hey, we saw the mana! And Warcrafting can hit the Adeline this turn. We won't get any boost from the Warcrafting, so maybe it's just try to outpace. Stormseeker gets picked up by Adeline immediately, though. Adeline's just a really good blocker. All right. It's not the greatest, but it's something. I guess we can just decline, right? Since we won't have... This is a perfect example of, like, if we had Naturalist on the board, we would have been able to play out the Phoenix Chick after the swing, of course, but it still would have been, like, a free Phoenix Chick, which would have been really cool, huh? Adeline number 2 would be bad. Vanguard's pretty bad. They go for the swing. Yeah, they can definitely outpace us. Down to 10. Arlinn would be good. Get us a couple blockers that, like, actually block really well. No 4th. Nighttime not doing much. Liberator not doing much. We have to keep blockers on the board, guys, and the biggest problem here is Brutal Cathar just existing. Mono white aggro, rocking the Sun Gold Sentinel. Underplayed 2-drop for sure. No attacks. Let's see the Brutal Cathars slam onto this board, huh? It could be a Plains and double Cathar, right? Okay, Cathar number 1. We still have a pretty good blocker here, luckily. Thalia making Arlinn 5 mana. This one really did not line up for us, guys. Oh. Let's just take the 6 and get rid of that Vanguard, dude. Right? Yeah. It was worth the full swing, though, opponent. It's looking like it's theirs next turn, regardless. Yeah, no mana. Even if they didn't have the Thalia, we still wouldn't have been able to play Arlinn this turn. And it still would have been a full swing, even if we played the Arlinn, because they still have the 4 getting through. No? Not necessarily. Maybe it would have only been 3 getting through for the turn. Naturalist was a good draw. This was a mulligan game, I guess, guys. I guess. Let's drop them the GGs, get that full swing from them. And I don't drop enough emotes. Let's go with... I guess they're giving us time to pick an emote, huh? Intrepid Adversary buff, nice. Let's go with this one. This one's just a pleasant little... It's got little, what's his name? Like Fibblethip or whatever? Something like that. Okay, we'll go ahead and block there. Well, let's go one more game, guys. I know for a fact this deck can draw a lot better. And if we saw the mana, I know, like, you're going to get unlucky sometimes for sure. Did I have fun that game? Did I have fun waiting for the mana? Was it my fault? Yes, because I could have mulliganed. But we recently had to mulligan down to, like, what was it? Did we mulligan? Did we drop to 4? No, I don't think we did. We dropped to 5 recently, which I like never dropped to 5. We ended up winning that game, by the way. That was our Golgari Enchantments, which is actually pretty insane, dude. That deck really pushes damage. Alright, opponent. What you bringing to the table, buddy? Ooh, good hand. We got a 1, 2, 3. We got the mana we need. Actually, we don't. We don't have the mana. The Rockfall Vale's slow, so we don't have a turn 2. Unless we see an untapped green source. Which, I mean, I guess it's our turn to flood out this game, so... Mana. Oh, hello, opponent. Hello. We could also skip the turn 1 Phoenix Chick. That's fine. Actually, I'm going to, because we have the turn 3 Tovolar on time. Mono Red knows how to tap their creatures, so we have a good chance of just letting Liberator get through and drawing an extra card off the Overlord. Ooh, buddy, we are in trouble. Okay, yep, no untapped green source, so It's good that we played the Vale last turn. I would have liked to swing with Phoenix Chick. It wouldn't have changed the fact that the opponent's just plugging damage through. Liberator might not even survive here. Oh, man, that's rough. Ill-Tempered Loner, we might... If I don't die next turn, we might actually get to see how good Loner is against Mono Red. Come on, don't be a Lightning Strike. Let me keep the Overlord for a turn. Let me block with it at least. Okay, 6 getting through. They have 1 mountain open, guys. And the festivities. Yep. We are down to 2. Ill-Tempered Loner's not even getting a chance to block. Yeah, GG opponent, man. This is our 4th turn, guys. We didn't even get a chance, not even in the slightest. Let them play it on out. Guys, we're only 40 minutes in. Only, listen to me. Let's do it this way, and then technically we would be able to hit the squee. But, I mean, we died, but, like, that's technically the blocks we would go for. Because then we could do 2 damage to the squee. If you did it the other way around, then they would actually get to keep the Swift Spear. And then we'd have to target Etching or something, which would be pretty good. But we wanted to take out the Swift Spear for sure there. Let's go one more, guys. These games have been fast. And also, I just feel like things just aren't lining up. And, man, I feel like I'm saying that in way too many of my videos recently. I don't know. Is it standard? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Are we getting a little unlucky recently? Or is there something we could be doing better? I know it could be as simple as like, oh, werewolves just aren't that strong anymore. But I mean, that's not the fun answer, man. We gotta sit down. We gotta buckle up and figure this out. I thought last game was a good hand. At least we go first here. That could have really changed everything last game, right? Going first. Also, actually having the fast land here, too. Okay, Sleeper. I'm gonna go Liberator because it's a wolf. Feldon would have been an alright swing. It would have gotten through, but having the wolf down for the Dire Overlord on 3 could be really good. Okay, it doesn't have Death Touch yet, but it does... Oh, cut down, okay. Well, I guess we could still go Overlord, but we do have Stand. It might be Overlord on 4. Oh my goodness. If we go Naturalist, keep the green source open, Tyvar Stand. It might be that. That might be good. That might be fine. It depends what we see off the top, too. Oh, wow. In a few of those games, our top end would have been insane, huh? Go for the swing. They can buff this above the 2-2 anyway, so we're just going to go no blocks. Give it up to the 3-3 with Death Touch. Could be a problem. I think it's definitely worthwhile saving the Naturalist if they go cut down, right? If they don't play anything, it switches to nighttime, which could be nasty. Worthwhile, I would say. Yep. Oh, confirm 0. Worth it. I hope. We go for the draw on the Overlord. Play Feldon. I mean, first we might see a better 2-drop. Probably go red here. It is a majority red deck, right? Phoenix Chick. Alright, we'll just get Feldon down. It can't block, but I doubt this is the style of deck that runs a board wipe right now, at least. It could be the path board wipe, I suppose, but that would hit their sleeper too. Go for the throw on the Dire Overlord. Don't really know whose game this is. Well, I know Feldon can't block, so they can swing for 3 successfully. Take 4 next turn. That's not too bad for them. They want to go ahead and save it, though. The block on the Naturalist is pretty bad. We go Stormseeker, it could be another cut down. That would be their third cut down, though. I'm going to buff the Feldon to a 3-2 and make that a little bit less tempting. And we definitely keep Crucible back because this is one of those games where Crucible could help us wrap it up. Swing, swing. See, in this case, keeping the Sleeper back isn't like the greatest blocker. Like seeing 3 cards off the top for us this turn and getting that Sleeper off the board could be absolutely huge for us. Nice. Like, this isn't bad. They're down to 17, and it's just anyone's game. It really is, bro. Oh, boy. I guess the Unnatural Moonrise, right? Yeah. Yeah, keep Crucible back. We don't play that as a land. Not this game. 4th mana, Sheoldred could come down. Oh, that would be really bad. Because Unnatural Moonrise, I guess we could put that on the Phoenix check. We'd really want that Unnatural Moonrise if both of our werewolves actually survive, right? But it looks like they're thinking about some spot removal here. Already gone through 3 pieces of spot removal in their list. It just switches to nighttime. I guess they can see, okay, they go for the throat on our turn. So, I mean, I guess we play Unnatural Moonrise for the sake of getting the extra draw, right? Wow, guys. That's a lot. So by not keeping the go for the throats open, the Unnatural Moonrise actually just isn't going to fizzle out, which is pretty good. It is. Has flashback too, so we start with the draw. Naturalist doesn't have haste or anything. And now we have the flashback on the Moonrise when it comes time. It's actually going to flip back to day if we play something, but I mean, we have to play something because we have to try to keep up, and then we can always switch it back to night, or the opponent might switch it back to night too. Now, if we play Crucible, we can play Kumano, but I still don't think it's worth it. I think keeping Crucible back this game is better than just getting Kumano down. No, I changed my mind actually. Kumano flips a turn early if we don't wait till next turn to play it. I think that's worthwhile. Also, playing it that turn too means we played 3 cards, and if we only play, if we switch it back to nighttime next turn and play the Kumano, then it switches back to daytime again, right? So there's actually a lot to think about there. Oh, Trespasser is a pain in my butt, dude. There goes the flashback. Land off the top. It's now heavily leaning towards the opponent, guys. It's now heavily leaning towards them. Anything outside of land? Maybe. Even a Play with Fire would have been decent to get that scry, right? So, Kumano flips next turn. They should just start swinging. Yeah. They can now keep up pace really nicely here. Double cut down, triple go for the throat. At some point, they're going to run out of spot removal, so seeing like a Stormseeker off the top would be really, really good. 5 mana hits the table. Liliana, okay, Phoenix Chick is out of here. Another Phoenix Chick off the top would be good.
I've come for answers.
Or anything with haste, right? No, we need 3 or more. Wait. Oh yeah, Etching flips, so 3 or more creatures. Sacrifice. Okay. They're flipping it back to daytime. Yep, underdog. Back to daytime. More land off the top, guys. Brutal business, man. Alright, we full swing at Liliana. Let them block 1. Underdog will get exiled if they... Oh, it's switching back to night, and then we lose 7, 8, 9... Crap. We have to keep a blocker. That's brutal, dude. That's brutal. They go for the block, actually. The exile means, I mean, yeah. so they can't bring the underdog back. We're just going to keep this mountain in hand. There's not a lot we could do, man. A couple turns in a row. I think this could have gone either way, for sure, dude, for sure. Trespasser number 2. Oh, man. All right. So we might be going down to 1 here. Still have Sleeper to exile. Yep. We still have so many creatures in the grave, too. Oh, yeah, we were going to have to discard the mountain because of the Liliana. I should have played that. I was just thinking, like, it doesn't matter. We don't. Because we're only drawing 1 at a time anyways, and our wolves are gone, so even if we saw some of our draw power, too. Down to 1. Let's see what's on top here. Kumano. Okay. Hey, good game, opponent.
You couldn't be more annoying.
Good game. Brutal stuff, man. Well, we'll give him one of these. I gotta start using my emotes more. Hey, there's the Gix's command. Oh, buddy. Ho. Gix's command is so good, guys. Whenever we played that mono blacklist with Gix's command on the top end, it's disgusting. It does so much when you need it to. If they would have seen that earlier, too, like, they wouldn't have even needed too much if they would have seen that on 5. Which I don't think they had 5 mana that entire time. I mean, they had 5 mana there. I just feel like it took them a while to get there is what I mean. Alright, guys, let's go over the deck list one more time. You'll note that I didn't call it Where's Wolf Aggro. No, I'm just teasing. But yeah, here's the deck list again. I still had a lot of fun with this, man. A few noteworthy things. The Unnatural Moonrise was just like, it really just came into our hand at like the worst times. However, I still like it as a one of in here. I don't know if I would drop it. I guess overall, we know it to be a little bit janky, especially if you have like 3 of them in the list. That's just not going to do much at all, right? As a one of though, I think we might still keep this around, huh? Bro, there's just too much removal, man. Do we need more protection? I guess so. Man, like, we're trying to do aggressive things, but that was brutal business. And most of those matches, we just needed more protection for our creatures for sure. The Naturalist never survived. The Liberators didn't even survive. The poor little buddies, man. Phoenix Chick is great. I think it's still worth keeping all 4, especially if you're keeping all 4 Stormseekers, which in this deck you definitely should. It's one of the MVPs, right? All 4 Stormseekers, all 4 Phoenix Chick, completely fine. So what on earth are you dropping for more protection? Probably like 1 or 2 of the Kumanos. I could definitely see that. Dropping down to 3 or 2. Technically, it's not even a necessary card in here. My thought process was it's such an aggressive card. It works well with our 2-drops. It works well with our 3-drops. It just works well in general. You can play it off of a Naturalist because it's a 1-mana card. But other than outside of everything, I could still just see dropping it to 3 or 2, go up another Tyvar stand, go up a Tamiyo Safekeeping. If you're seeing as much mono red as we saw today too, which it's back and forth for me, man. It really depends on the day. Then Tamiyo Safekeeping is going to be a little bit better than Tyvar stand if you're seeing more aggro. So if you go up a couple Safekeepings, I would drop a single Kumano, and then I would think about dropping the second Kumano for the second Safekeeping, but I think we could probably find something else in here to drop, like, I guess, the Unnatural Moonrise, right? I suppose. And we don't have too many werewolves. Like, we have werewolves, obviously. A lot of werewolves, 15 total. But I guess there are going to be moments where the Moonrise just becomes that bottom ability where you draw off of a Phoenix Chick, which actually, since we're keeping all 4 Phoenix Chick, might still be worthwhile, man. Because you're buffing it, you're getting the damage through with flying, you're drawing, so you're filtering out the Moonrise. No, I still like the one of, so yeah, drop 2 Kumano, couple Tamiyo Safekeeping, and if you're not seeing a lot of aggro, then Tyvar stand is going to be better against the control matchups that you're seeing. Help you plug that last little bit of extra damage through when you need it. I think all 3 Arlinns was fine. I think the double Ill-Tempered Loners were good. Again, if we would have went first against that mono red list, the Ill-Tempered Loner would have come out a turn when we actually needed it, which could have completely changed the dynamic of that game. Because if they ended up trading, like going Lightning Bolt, Lightning Strike on the Ill-Tempered Loner, then we at least could have taken out their Swift Spear or something, right? Or targeted something properly. So I still like the 2 of here, but I could also see dropping this down to a 1 of, potentially, right? I like the 1 of Nahiri's Warcrafting. Something I forgot to go over when we were going over the deck was it doesn't have to target an opponent's creature. So you can totally do 5 damage to your Ill-Tempered Loner, so that way you can deal 5 damage to your opponent's face as well. So that's definitely a reason to have the 1 of Warcrafting with the Ill-Tempered Loner. Lots of little tiny synergies packed in, honestly. I think the Burn Down the House could have come in handy in a lot of those matchups. But we struggled with mana, and when we didn't struggle with mana, we flooded. Yeah, the 24 land curse, I suppose, right? Would I drop any land? Would I add any land? Probably not. I think we got a little unlucky, guys. And I know I've been saying it so much, but I really do feel like we've been getting unlucky. I don't know. Again, let me know in the comments. Do you think we've been getting unlucky recently? Because it feels like it a little bit. Either way, oh, I liked the Mirrex. That was fine. The 3 Rockfall Vales. If you do end up dropping a land, drop a Rockfall Vale. I'll tell you what, dude, in aggro matches, these slow land, as good as they are, they will slow you down, especially if you see a couple of them in your opening hand. A turn 2 1-drop is just not as good as a turn 1 1-drop, man. So, and of course, a turn 2 2-drop is much better than a turn 3 2-drop. So, I could see dropping down to 2 Rockfall Vales. And if you want to keep the 24 land, I could still see dropping down to 2 Rockfall Vales and going up like the 10th mountain or something. Or a second Mirrex. I think the double Mirrex might hold you up sometimes, especially in this list. If you see 2 Mirrex in a mountain, then you're never casting your Warcrafting or your Dire Overlord, unless like the second Mirrex comes out on turn 3, then you have like 1 turn of getting an Overlord down, but then it gets picked up by spot removal right away, and you need to play your second one. So I think there's going to be moments where a double Mirrex would slow you down. It just won't happen too often overall. All right, guys. Hey, if you made it this far into the video, then for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.